There's a pond near my house. It's about a mile away. Doesn't have a name, and it's situated in the middle of a business complex. But it attracts a lot of birds. On this day, the first bird I come to is the mallard duck. I want to stop here for a second and just take a look at this very common bird that we almost disregard because it's so common. We see it in every type of waterway there is. The other day, I was at the Sammamish River and I came across this little guy alone. I didn't realize it, but he was staring at me, and he walks up the bank and comes right up to me. Um, he must associate humans with food because he was looking for something. I had nothing to give him, but I appreciated that he stood by so I could videotape this beautiful bird. Notice the iridescent green head, yellow bill, brown underneath. Very common bird, but very beautiful. Can be easily disregarded, and I have
Time
disregarded
to
it.
Go on, little buddy. I got nothing for you. Go on. Go on. I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you. Go on.
And getting back to the pond. There he is. The mallard. Now, I noticed the mallard and then this bird to the right. I'll draw an arrow. That bird right there is a northern shoveler. I've never seen one before, but it can, from a distance, it could be mistaken for a mallard, but it's very different once you analyze it. Notice the spoon-shaped bill on it. We'll see it later, but it's an interesting animal. The northern shoveler. This is the American coot. It is a strange bird. Gray body, black head, white beak. I thought this was an exotic. I still think it's an exotic bird. Anything beyond a mallard to me is an exotic bird. This bird does dive, but mostly what it does is graze for organisms, invertebrates, plant matter. All these birds are actually after plant matter, invertebrates, little organisms. Now, these two mallards were just chased off by a female northern shoveler. So there's the northern shoveler, and you can tell by its beak, it's just kind of like a spoon at the end. And this beak is unique. It has these teeth on the top and bottom that act like filters, so it could filter out the bad stuff and keep the good stuff it wants. When it goes over on its head like that, that's called upending. Not all of them do that. The male in birds, males are usually have the colorful plumage, and the female has a duller plumage. So the female is to the left, and then the male is to the right. Never seen this bird before. You see how it bobs its head? I feel that it's probably digesting its food. This pond is probably a couple hundred yards wide and 100 or a couple hundred yards long, 100 yards wide. There's the American coot. We see this bird in the winter time. It is a migratory bird. The pond is next to the North Creek River. This is the North Creek River. So this American coot is just sprinting towards me. And they're funny because each time they paddle, their head bobs. So the pond is in the center of this business park. I'm on a paved path. So you get these engineer types walking by and whatnot. This is the, there was a big company called CGen that was bought out by Pfizer. So they dominate the buildings, but there's also Leviton and other Romac, other large corporations within this business park. It's not industrial. It's mostly, heady stuff, lab stuff. This is the female northern shoveler. It looks like a female mallard, but not even close. It's a female northern shoveler. Look for the bill, the wide bill. Red-winged blackbird, but notice the yellow underneath the red patch. It's called a buff. Yellow. I've never seen that before. Matter of fact, I've never seen a red-winged blackbird in Washington State. This is Canadian geese hanging out. Very common. They could be a permanent resident or migratory bird here in Washington State. This is a third Canadian goose coming by. The two Canadian geese on the ground do not want this one around, from what I can interpret. They're saying, get out of here. So this one goes there. Now the two, they're still complaining. I don't know. They ain't having any of this. They chase the one guy off. There he goes. I don't know, maybe he's from a different flock. And he will remain alone for the rest of the time I'm here. Now here I'm centering in on the pond at the water. Sometimes little bugs or whatnot will break the water surface. And these are tree swallows, those birds that are darting about. I believe they're tree swallows. Triangular wings, kind of a light bottom, white bottom, and then blue top. But I thought they would go after the little bugs on the surface. They're actually going for flying insects. That's what they're going for. So I'm trying to catch them feeding off the surface of the water, and I never do, because I find out later they're actually looking for flying things. That's a mallard. They are one was clocked at 103 miles an hour with a tailwind. Under perfect condition, 103 miles an hour. Very fast bird. So here I'm trying to get these swallows to swoop down at the water. It's just not happening. See, there's the water ripple right there. So I would expect them to go after it, and I didn't see them do that. At least they aren't supposed to do that. I just have one right there almost did. But, they're constantly moving. You never see them stop. Constantly moving. Very difficult to track them with my camera. Very difficult. There's our friend, the Canadian goose. The way he tucks his neck. I guess it's a head. His neck reminds me of a gondola in the canals of Venice. I don't know why. It just looks like a gondola. American coot grazing. The best I could tell, this is an American robin, very common. It's rather uncommon to see them up in a tree so high. They're usually on the ground. They're a scavenger. They like being on the ground, looking for insects and whatnot, and fruit. They like fruit. See those two little guys? Those are bufflehead. The male is on the right with that big white patch behind his head. So exotic to me, but now I've seen them so much, they're rather common. But they dive, and they're looking for little organisms, plant matter. Here's the female. And finally, our little friend, the Canadian goose, who got rejected by the other two. I don't think this goose has any problem with that. You know, you see these things go on with the birds. You don't try to interpret what's going on unless it's just totally obvious. Anyway, we saw the mallard, the northern shoveler, the American coot, the tree swallow, the Canadian goose, the red-winged blackbird, the American robin, and the bufflehead. 8 birds in this little pond. Thank you.